All right, picture this. It's late at night, you're on a desolate road covered in fog, you're a lone traveler, you've got a major deadline, and you see a shortcut that promises to save you a ton of time. This is where our story kicks off. And trust me, it starts like a classic ghost tale, but ends up as something, well, something much more.
This is the warning our traveler gets. You know, it's the kind of cryptic advice that sends a little chill down your spine, the kind that hints at some deep, dark local knowledge that you're definitely not going to find on your phone's GPS.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? What happens when your modern world of deadlines and data smacks right into a world of spirits and superstition? Well, let's find out.
So let's meet our guy, Ramesh. He's a professional from the city, he's absolutely exhausted, and he's racing against the clock for an early morning meeting. We're talking career on the line kind of pressure, so yeah, every single minute counts.
He pulls over at this tiny, dimly lit roadside stall, you know, a dhaba, just for a quick cup of tea. And while he's sipping it, he's staring at his phone. Of course, Google Maps is showing him a shortcut, this dusty rural road that could shave a whole hour off his trip. It feels like a miracle.
The dhaba owner, an old fella named Ramu Kaka, he sees Ramesh looking at the map and kind of shakes his head. He tells him, hey, ignore the machine. That path is dangerous. And then he says they are waiting there. But for Ramesh, the choice seems obvious, right? It's a proven algorithm versus some old man's spooky folktale?
Ramu Kaka gets really specific too. He warns him about Chatia and Matia, two children who haunt that very road. Says they've been kids for 50 years. Ramesh, of course, just scoffs. He's thinking, what, robbers? But the old man insists, no, just children. With a shrug, Ramesh gets back in his car and heads right for that shortcut. Warning be damned.
So Ramesh takes the shortcut. The road is super narrow, with these massive sugarcane fields on either side. He's feeling pretty good about his tech-savvy decision, but that confidence is about to get completely and utterly shattered.
First, this thick, almost unnatural fog just rolls in, and his visibility drops to basically zero. Then, with a cough and a sputter, his car engine just dies. Totally dead. He tries the ignition over and over, nothing. So now he's all alone, stranded in the pitch black, with just the creepy sound of rustling sugarcane all around him.
He grabs his flashlight and his precious laptop bag and decides his only option is to walk. And that is when he hears it. This delicate little metallic sound, the chiming of anklets. It's faint at first, but it's getting closer. And it's followed by a giggle, a kid's mischievous laugh, echoing in a way that is just not right.
And just like that, things go from bad to way, way worse. His flashlight flickers out, he yanks out his phone, 2% battery. In that dying glow, he sees it, the enormous peepal tree Ramu Kaka told him about. And there they are, a boy, Chatia, hanging upside down from a branch, his skin a ghostly white and his eyes just two pools of pure black. Below him, a girl, Matia, sits on the ground playing with glass bangles. That's where the chiming was coming from.
Before Ramesh can even think to scream, the boy speaks, his voice thin and, well, otherworldly. He points right at Ramesh's laptop bag. In a blink, Chatia drops from the tree, snatches the bag, and tosses it to his sister. And then, with that same echoing laughter, they both just disappear into the sugarcane fields.
Now, any sane person would turn and run, right? But Ramesh doesn't. And his reason for chasing them is what flips this whole thing from a horror story into something completely different. But first, we need to understand who these children really were.
See, 50 years ago, a massive flood just wiped out the entire area. As the water rose, two little kids, Chatia and Matia, they scrambled up into the highest branches of that exact same peepal tree. They waited and waited for their mother to come back for them, calling her name, but she never did. They died right there in that tree, alone and waiting.
So here's the thing you have to get about Ramesh. He is not a hero. That laptop bag has the project his entire future depends on. If he loses it, he's ruined. So it's not bravery, it's pure desperation that sends him plunging into those dark fields, chasing the sound of laughter and chiming anklets.
He follows the sounds to this crumbling ancient temple deep inside the fields, and there he finds them. But they haven't smashed his laptop. No, they've opened it, and they are completely mesmerized by the glowing screen. To them, in their 1970s world, this is pure magic. One of them actually asks, has he trapped the sun in a box? They aren't evil, they're just curious.
Seeing this, Ramesh's fear just melts away and gets replaced by this overwhelming sense of pity. He actually sits down with them and offers them a biscuit he had in his pocket. And this small act, it changes everything. As they eat, a bizarre transformation happens. Their ghostly skin starts to get a warm, human glow. Their pitch-black eyes soften into the curious brown eyes of regular kids. For just a moment, they aren't spirits. They're just two hungry children. They actually spend a little time together in those ruins. Ramesh even draws a house for them on a paint app on his laptop. But as the sun starts to come up, the story takes its final, absolutely stunning twist.
The first rays of morning start cutting through the dark, and as the light hits them, Chatia and Matia's ghostly looks come back. But something's different. The creepiness is gone. Instead, they just seem calm, serene. They carefully start putting Ramesh's papers back into his beat-up laptop bag.
Chatia hands the bag back to Ramesh and gives him one last, chilling warning. He says, "Don't go straight ahead, Ramesh brother." He tells him the bridge up ahead is broken, and that the river is deep and very cold. Then, as the sun rises fully, they just dissolve into these little motes of golden dust and vanish completely.
Ramesh is just stunned. He makes his way back to the road and starts walking in the direction his car was pointing, down that shortcut. He rounds a bend in the road and stops dead. The road just ends. It drops off into a cliff.
Down below is a raging river where a concrete bridge is totally collapsed. No warning signs, no barriers, nothing. And in that second, it hits him. If his car hadn't broken down, if those kids hadn't stolen his bag and led him on that terrifying chase, he would have driven straight off that cliff. The whole haunting, it was a rescue. Their scary game was a desperate act to save his life.
But the story doesn't quite end there. Ramesh is a completely changed man. That meeting, the project, suddenly none of it seems as important as what he just went through.
A few days later, he drives all the way back out to that old peepal tree. And he brings gifts, 2 packets of biscuits, a little toy car for Chatia, and a set of red glass bangles for Matia. He bows his head, thanks them, and calls them his little brother and sister. And as he walks away, a gentle breeze rustles the leaves, and for just a second, he hears the faint, happy laughter of 2 children who seem to be finally at peace.
And really, that's what this story leaves you with, isn't it? It makes you ask, what's the real difference between a terrifying ghost and a guardian angel? Maybe it's not about what they are, but about whether we're willing to look past our own fear to see the humanity, or at least the memory of it, that's still there.